What's up, y'all? V-Slingo here today on MyNBA. Now, I know there's a little different speed than what I normally do on this channel, but I do expect there to be more MyNBA content in the future. As for this video, we'll be determining the greatest team in NBA history. Now, how I decide which teams to put in here, I basically took the best individual year team off of every franchise, right? So, for example, the 96 Bulls, like the 2017 Warriors. For all the teams, I decided which team to take exactly. I took out of the teams that won championships, I've took the team with the highest regular season win percentage, and then same thing for the teams who haven't, just best regular season win percentage.
There were, of course, a couple teams that I feel like the criteria didn't really fit for, so I opted out for other teams in their history, but I'll explain those as I go team by team and show y'all the rosters.
The first team we have in here is the 1967 76ers, led by Wilt Chamberlain. Now, this is actually the 1968 team. I did look in the roster, did look pretty similar, but I couldn't actually find a 1967 roster, so we're just gonna have to work with this. Now, for each of the teams I had to download, I just kind of went and got the top 10 players, or, you know, as close as I could. I might have had to make a couple extras, and then everyone else on the roster is just gonna be basically a low 60 overall. There are no injuries and there's no trades or anything, so these guys will not get minutes throughout the season, so I won't really impact them, unlike some of the other teams who were already in 2K. The second team I picked was the 1970-71 Milwaukee Bucks, led by Kareem and Oscar Robertson. The 96 Bulls, as previously mentioned. The 2016 Cavaliers. The Celtics, was a little bit of controversy because I don't remember the exact year. It was like a 70 Celtics team that actually had 69 wins, and they would have been the team for this. But it was a team led by Dave Cowens, and Dave Cowens, he's a name you've heard probably, and I'm gonna assume he's a Hall of Famer. But I feel like for the Celtics and the franchise it should have been either a Larry Bird led team or a Bill Russell led team. So I ended up going with the 86 Celtics, who would be second in win percentage out of their teams that won a ring. The Clippers have never won a championship, so I just went with Lob City since that's probably their most notorious team. The 2013 Grizzlies is the team I picked. They're another team with no championship, but I opted for the best win percentage. I added Marc Gasol and a couple teams that were already in 2K. If they were missing somebody important, I went and added them. So they do have Marc Gasol, they have Tayshaun Prince. The ages might be not right, but I did go and get the overalls about where I thought they should be. The Hawks were another team that was difficult because Hawks actually did win a championship in the 50s, I think, with Bob Pettit, but I couldn't actually find a roster for that exact year, so I was going to do the 2015 Hawks, but I could find a roster for 2015, but I couldn't find a Hawks team I really liked, so I just opted for the 86 team with Dominique Wilkins. The Heat, of course, the Heatles, 2013. The Hornets actually got something different. Now, the Hornets basically have won nothing ever. Just a poverty franchise, as simple as that. But with that, there were a couple okay teams. I believe the 98 team was pretty solid. But it was just, they were mid, honestly. It was a mid team. It wasn't worth being here. So for the Hornets, I actually took the, 7-59 Hornets from 2012. And while every other team is racing for the top, this team is racing for the bottom. We're just also going to see how terrible the Hornets can be in this league. For the Utah Jazz, I took the 98 Jazz. The 97 Jazz actually had a better regular season win percentage, and they both went to the finals and lost. But the 98 Jazz were already in 2K, so I felt like when it came to teams that were in 2K, if there was a 1-year grace period, I just opted to add the team that was already in there. For the Kings, it's the 2002 Kings that were kind of screwed in the conference finals by the Lakers. There was some questionable reffing here, but we're not here to get into NBA politics. The Chris Webber, for whatever reason, is sort of in 2K. He's not on the roster. I don't know if he's in my team or anything, but I was able to add him to the roster, so they're back to being complete. The 1972 Knicks. Now, this is another one that I don't know if 2K messed up or what it is, but I believe it was the 73 that the Knicks won, but for some reason they had the 72 roster, so I just added the 72 roster. The Lakers, we went with a Magic and Kareem team from 86-87. Now, their best win percentage team was a team that was like a Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West team, but Wilt was already in here, and I felt like I tried to not have many duplicates. Of course, there were a good amount still because there's a lot of overlap, with player movement and everything. But with that team being said, I didn't feel like the Lakers were prestigious enough as a franchise that I felt like they could have a different team. So I went for a Magic and Kareem Lakers team, as well as a Shaq and Kobe team. I just felt like I couldn't leave either one of these duos out, so I just added both of them. Talking about Shaq again, the Magic get the '95 Magic, who went to the finals and ended up losing to the Rockets. 2011 Mavs with their championship, Dirk, Jason Terry, Tyson Chandler. The Brooklyn Nets, the 2021 Brooklyn Nets is the team I opted for. They were actually, the Nets did win a championship back in the ABA, and it might be another team, I don't know if I already passed them, that also only won the ABA. I didn't count ABA championships, even though it was a Dr. J team, so I probably could have. I just opted for this team as they were of the better teams. There's also a question like a Jason Kidd Nets team, but I felt like this team had a lot of potential, so with no injuries, we're just going to let them rock. As for the Nuggets were a team that had no championships, and as of when I was putting the roster together, this year's Nuggets team, the current Nuggets, actually had the highest win percentage in Nuggets history, so I just opted to already go with them. They're the only current team in here. As for the Pistons, we went 2004, a year before the Malice in the Palace, I believe. Jermaine O'Neal, Reggie Miller, Ron Artest. I believe they went to the conference finals before they lost to the Pistons that year. The Pelicans, well, there's actually technically a Hornets team, but the Hornets became the Pelicans, you know all that. And this is a Chris Paul, David West, Tyson Chandler team. The Pistons, we won the Bad Boy Pistons, 89. Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Dennis Rodman. The Raptors, 2019 Raptors, and won the finals. The Rockets, now the 94 Rockets were already in 2K, but I felt like just to make it more fair, because they weren't really a great roster, I just added Clyde Drexler, who was on the 95 Rockets the next year they won. I don't really know exactly what the trade looked like to get Clyde Drexler, so anybody who might have got traded for Clyde is still on the roster. So it's meant to be the 95 team, but it's really just the 94 team with Clyde. The Spurs, 2014 Spurs that beat the Heat. The Suns, these are the 2021 Suns that went to the finals. Now, for the Suns, there was a second of 7 seconds or less Suns with like Steve Nash, and that's who I was going to add initially. But this Suns team, this core, 1 year went to the finals and another year had the best win percentage in Suns history. So I felt like they've done enough to deserve it. The Supersonics, I kept the Supersonics and the Thunder, so they're two separate teams in here. I went for the 96 Supersonics, went to the finals. Thunder, also 2012 Thunder, who went to the finals. The year KG won, was it MVP or was it DPOI? Was it both? 2K doesn't even have those things listed, but I know for a fact I'm pretty sure it was MVP. I don't know if he won both. It was the 2004 Timberwolves I opted for. And then the Trailblazers were another team with some controversy where I went to add a 1977 team that won with Bill Walton, but they weren't in 2K. So I just opted with this team that was already in here that was led by Clyde. They're another team that didn't have a lot of history, so it wasn't really too much to do with them. The Warriors, 2017 with KD. And then the Wizards, a 2017 Wizards team, and the Wizards were another team I wanted to add. It was like a team in the 70s or the 60s, I think. It was a West Unseld team. And this is just another team I couldn't find a roster for, so I just had to opt for 2017. I've been talking for a long time, don't know, but that was all the rosters here, the top 5 players in the league. You have Michael Jordan, Cavs LeBron, Heat LeBron, Kareem, and Kobe Bryant. Anywho, let's get into the actual sim.
Going into the season, 2K has the 96 Bulls number 1 in the power rankings, with the 2013 Heat being 2, 2014 Spurs being 3, 2017 Warriors being 4, and the 86 Celtics being 5. And then they have the Hornets, understandably at the bottom, but out of the real teams, the Suns, which is kind of wild, honestly. It was a pretty good Suns team. One thing I will say that they're gonna normalize their lineups themselves, even though this is kind of messed up right now. The AI is gonna fix it themselves. As for Eric Bosnick, who is Eric Bosnick? Who cares? They have the Hornets listed as the worst team, the Chris Paul Hornets team. And then his top 5 are the 96 Bulls, 13 Heat, 14 Spurs, 17 Warriors, 16 Cavs. And lastly, NBA.com has the 87 Lakers, 86 Celtics, 01 Lakers, 14 Spurs, 96 Bulls. That's their top 5. And the Pelicans as their bottom as well.
one more thing to keep in mind, I almost forgot to tell y'all. For the Grizzlies, because I had to add the Supersonics and there's two Lakers teams, the Grizzlies are now in the Eastern Conference instead of the Western Conference. I don't think that will really affect a lot, but just if you see that, that's why. And now we're back at the All-Star break. Seeing who the captains are, is Team LeBron and Team Kevin. Is that Durant or that's KD? That's OKC KD's All-Star captain. And the teams end up being Team KD being KD, Mike, KG, Wilt, and Nets James Harden. Okay, honestly, that's only James Harden that makes sense. And then Dirk, Clippers, Chris Paul, Steph, Oscar Robinson, Kareem, Nets, KD, and Dominique Wilkins. And then Team LeBron is Cavs LeBron, Heat LeBron, Karl Malone, Magic, Kobe, Tim Duncan, Jokic, Kawhi, Shaq, D-Wade, Pelicans, Chris Paul, and then Nets, Kyrie. So the Nets had 3 All-Stars, it looks like. So during the All-Star break, Devin Booker won the 3-point contest, Chet Walker won the dunk contest, and then Team LeBron wins with probably Heat LeBron. Looks like probably would have got the All-Star MVP. Let's look at the award races right now, as we have the 2 LeBrons being the top 2. OKC KD averaging 35, 9, and 6 being number 3. We have Wilt and Nets James Harden. Rookie of the Year is kind of relevant here. 6-man, Manu, of course, Spud, Tony Kukoc, Spencer Dinwiddie, Benny Johnson. D-Boy, we got the 2 Shaqs with Magic Shaq averaging about 4 blocks a game. God, yeah. You got Hakeem, Heat LeBron, and Kareem, and then Most Improved. That's another one that's kind of irrelevant because these players got put over other players. Now looking at the current standings, the top teams in the West are the Glob City Clippers, 17 Warriors, the 12 Thunder, the 01 Lakers, and the 87 Lakers. You see who's in the middle. Then at the bottom of the West would be the 04 Timberwolves, the Jazz, surprisingly. Guess Karl Malone's paying for his sins. I don't know. And then the Rockets. Another surprise to be this low. On the East up top, we have the Nets in their big 3. We have Wilt and the 76ers, 16 Cavs. 96 Bulls are a 4 seed, surprisingly. And then you have the 5 seed being the 2019 Raptors. And at the bottom of the East, you have, of course, the Hornets, who already have 7 wins. So they're already matching their total. Probably going to be better than they were in real life, unless they lose out. Then you have the 2013 Grizzlies, which I'm not too surprised down here. And the 86 Celtics. They're pretty high in the power rankings, too. I don't really know what's... Dennis Johnson's not having a good season. Danny Ainge hasn't been that efficient. Larry Bird hasn't been too efficient. They isn't really scoring a lot. This team's just disappointing on all fronts, honestly. Oh my God, Bill Walton's shooting 39%. God, that's ridiculous. And I'll see y'all again at the end of the regular season. Okay, first team, Magic, James Harden, Heat, LeBron, Thunder, KD, and Lakers, Shaq. As y'all might have saw, I skipped accidentally. Heat, LeBron get the MVP, continuing his dominance. Second team, y'all see all these guys. Third team, y'all see everybody. Defensive teams, I assume Shaq went DPOI. He was in the running initially, averaging still damn near 4 blocks a game. The efficiency is terrible for Shaq standards, though. 2K not fixed. No, Lakers Shaq did it, so I don't know what's really going on with Magic Shaq, but here's the rest of the defensive team, and the rookie team is basically irrelevant. I feel like none of the other awards really matter either way. And here is the playoff bracket so far. Go back into the standings. The Warriors finished at the top of the West, and the Raptors finished at the top of the East. In the bottom of the... Whoa. The Hornets almost only won 1 game after All-Star. They might have been worse than they were in real life. It was close. And the Jazz at the bottom of the West is wild. Any other team I'd say really disappointing? I mean, not really too surprised. I feel like the Rockets are kind of disappointing. Out East, not really disappointing any of them teams. Everybody seems about where they are. I mean, I would think the Bulls should have probably been higher, but I guess it makes sense. Let's also go to the league leaders now at the end of the season. So at the end of the season, the leading scorer was Kevin Durant, still at 36-point per game,
followed by Dominique and Michael Jordan. Rebounds with Karl Malone, Kareem, KG. Assists with Magic, Hornets / Pelicans, Chris Paul, and James Harden. Sam Cassell was number 4. What the fuck is that about? Steals, GP, Doc Rivers. Okay, Doc Rivers was like that. And then Kawhi. Then blocks, Magic, Shaq, Hakeem, and DeAndre Jordan. Now let's just get out of this play-in. Let's see who actually made it. The Nuggets are out. The Bucks, the Mavs, the Pistons, and they're not another good team. Now these first 2 rounds, I'm just gonna sim straight up, and I'll do like simcast and stuff if games are close in the conference finals or the finals. So out the Wizards out the first round. The Nets, the 95 Magic, the Pelicans, and the Kings. Oh, and the 96 Bulls are out in the first round. And the Spurs. 96. Ooh. See, this is a series you probably should look at. The Bulls versus the Heat. Like, I didn't even really pay attention to like who was playing each other in the first round. It went to 7-2. This was a series. Any of the other series go to 7? Spurs, Warriors. So it was probably a pretty good one too. Alright, so that leaves the final 18 being the 2012 Thunder, 17 Warriors, both Lakers team, a Wilt-led Philly team, the 16 Cavs, a 19 Raptors, and the 2013 Heat. So heading to the conference finals as the Raptors get swept, the Warriors lose in 6, the 01 Lakers lose, and then the 2016 Cavs lose in 7. They end up losing game 7 by 7 points. That's a lot of fucking 7s. And the Lakers also their 2 teams go 7. And Shaq was great. Kobe just shot him out the game a little bit. He did not have a great game 7. They just didn't. It was really no help. I mean, Kobe didn't have a great game. He was manageable. And 87 showed their depth. Now for the conference finals, as we have 2012 Thunder and the 87 Lakers. And then we have the 2013 Heat and the 1968 76ers. Now, the Lakers and the Heat are both up 1-0. Heat are up 2-0. Heat up 3-0. 3-1. And the Heat win in 5. Just take care of this series quickly. And when it comes to me simcast, now simcast game 6 and 7, but I'm not going to do none if it's not really a close series. And the Thunder are able to take game 5. Let's see how game 6 goes. It's a close one. Ooh, Lakers are making a little distance. Thunder bringing it back. Oh, this is over. Magic wins Finals MVP, and LeBron averaged 38, 7, and 10 in them conference finals. And this is a pretty solid finals to have. I'd say I did do a test run to make sure things didn't crash and everything. I think the Kings ended up winning. So this is a lot better result for the actual video. And we have the Magic-led Lakers and the 2013 LeBron-led. Game 1 goes to Miami by 16. LeBron with a triple-double. Game 2 also goes to the Heat with a 15-point win. LeBron with 29, 6 and 6. D-Wade with 26. Nobody with over 20 on the Lakers. And Kareem only 10 points. I mean, he's only averaging 16. I know this is an older Kareem, but he's still a 96. I'm surprised 2K kind of got his tendencies like this. It's kind of wild. Lakers able to take game 3. But the Heat win the away game, putting themselves up 3-1 with an 8-point win. D-Wade with 36, 8 and 13. This Heat team has just been, all 3 of their big 3 have really been working. Ray Allen's been shooting 50% from 3 in the playoffs. Like, they've been putting in work. It's been a little inconsistent on some of the other teams' parts. Now, I'm going to just simcast from this point on. I want to catch the Heat's celebration. It looks like they might win in 5. They're up by a good amount. Oh, it's close. It's close. It's competitive. That's what I like to see. Heat are up 6 with a minute left. And let's see if the Lakers are able to turn around the tide of this series or if LeBron's going to be able to close it out.
Heat up 6. It looks like both teams' starting lineups seem to be out there. I don't know. I think that's AC Green in the corner, so James Worthy isn't out there. But they still have a good lineup out there. The Heat, I would think that's their starters. I don't know. Yeah, that's Shane Daniels, their starter. Byron Scott with a forced shot, rebound, AC Green, back up, and miss. But those free throws could be huge. That's a great rebound with AC Green. There's a reason he's out there, I guess. No, James Worthy's kind of wild right now. That's kind of AC Green has 17. I feel like that wasn't even like really like what he was. I mean, a huge miss free throw though. And yeah, they're subbing out Byron Scott. So they're keeping in Michael Cooper for defense, I guess. Another huge free throw. Need to make this one. He makes it. He's still up 5. If they're fouling, honestly, I'm not gonna sit down and watch them foul.
Sorry I had to cut out the celebration, y'all. I mean, y'all didn't miss out on too much because 2K was busy showing me the crowd instead of the Heat actually celebrating. But you see it. Heat win D-Wade Finals MVP. All the anti-LeBron narratives are swerving, you know. But if y'all enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.